A new fresh start. Whatever the case, it's time to emigrate. Unfortunately, it's never as easy as just picking a place and moving. Some countries make it impossible for foreigners to gain permanent residency. Others open their arms to candidates. Now, for your sake, we are going to take a look at the latter by breaking down the 12 easiest countries to emigrate to. Number 12, Belize. This is the only Central American country where the official native language is English. This amazing country has so many fabulous sights and scenery like beaches and resorts. One of the many beautiful things about Belize is that it is possibly populated and has easy immigration policies. Any Belizean consulate or embassy can issue a visa at the cost of $25. In cases where there is not a resident Belizean consulate or embassy in your country, a visa can be obtained through the nearest British embassy. An individual can apply for permanent residence after legally residing in Belize for a minimum of 1 year. The fee for residency ranges from $187.50 to $1,556.50 depending on the nationality of the applicant. According to the Belize Nationality Act of 1981, to obtain Malaysian citizenship, the applicant must possess a permanent residence certificate or have resided in Belize for 5 years. Number 11, Malta. Everyone loved the movie Call Me by Your Name. Was it the directing, the acting, the narrative? No. People just love to look at the Italian countryside. Set any movie there and people will rave that it's a breathtakingly beautiful film. But Italian immigration is too complicated. Instead, just move to the 3 islands settled in the Mediterranean below it. Malta. Malta has all the breathtaking beauty, the sand dollar beaches, the houses built into caves, the quaint roads, and the history that Italy has with half the fuss. If you are an EU national, this is the place for you. All you need is a job offer. Easily visit with any valid passport, stake out your beachfront property, talk to a few people, get an offer, and you're on your way. If you're not a citizen of the EU, it gets a little trickier, but well worth the effort. On top of the basics, you will also need to submit references and a CV. Your employer will have to send a cover letter explaining your professional duties and abilities, as well as apply for your employment license. Basically, like most countries, they want to be sure you will be A+ in their skilled labor division. Then, visit, get your job offer, and enjoy the faux Italian countryside. Number 10, Singapore. The city-state below Malaysia has one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and also a lenient permanent residence program. In contrast to the clean silver skyscrapers, Singapore is also home to unique bursts of colors. Historic gardens and marinas play largely into the culture of the island. Here's the good news: Singapore will most likely give you a visit visa that is good for a year. If you can find a job and show you have been working for 6 months in the country, you can apply for permanent residence. Here is what separates Singapore though: the unemployment rate is 2%. It's one of the lowest in the world. So if you have any skills or experience, finding a job will be easier than most countries. You can also fast-track the process by starting and running a business in Singapore. They also have a foreign artistic talent scheme to help implement talent into the local scene. The cost of living is higher than most places on the list, but so is the quality of life. Plus, it's one of the greenest cities on earth, so you'd be doing your part by relocating there. Number 9, Canada. Canada is known as one of the most polite and welcoming countries in the world. It's no wonder their immigration policies reflect this. A massive country that spans across 6 time zones, Canada is sure to have any situation you are looking for, whether you want to live in a cutting-edge city like Toronto, or out in the Saskatchewan prairie. Like most situations, if you are skilled or rich, you can get in quick because you are considered an asset and A+ to the country. For the wealthy, simply invest $250 $850K in an existing company, or start your own leading to job creation, and you're in. If you don't have that kind of coin, but do have the skills to compete, use the express entry system. Once you fill out the application, about 3,000 worthy applicants are plucked and given citizenship. For the rest of us, there is the trade agreement system. If you live in Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Iceland, Israel, Jordan, Liechtenstein, Mexico, Norway, Panama, Peru, Switzerland, or the USA, and work for a company that has a base in Canada, you can do an intercompany transfer without a labor market opinion. Lastly, the old standby of a job offer and a work permit goes by clean as can be in Maple Leaf Land. Number 8. Mexico. Or maybe you want the weather a little warmer, in which case Mexico is your go-to American neighbor. Home to the best tacos, tequilas, and horn sections in the world, Mexican culture is one of the liveliest on earth. Even deeper, a paper was published by the Center of Democracy that shows that Mexican elections were more independent, professional, and non-partisan than American elections. Despite a growing economy, Mexico maintains a low cost of living, while providing excellent healthcare. Add in beautiful beaches, and it's no wonder Mexico is a destination for expatriates. If you have family in the country, you can take residence with very little paperwork, otherwise you will have to get a work visa. As long as you can prove you are working in Mexico, you don't have to deal with too much assessment. For retirees or freelancers, you just have to prove you make at least $2,000 a month, sometimes higher, to gain residency. These are not the only options though. More and more people are living in Mexico part-time. This is because if you are visiting Mexico for leisure or business, and that stay lasts less than 6 months, you do not require a visa of any time. Many Americans and Canadians, and even Europeans have started to split their time between their home country and a life in Mexico with almost no hassle involved. In addition to all these options, Mexico recently passed laws to induct a points system, but this ratification has not gone into effect yet. Number 7. Sweden. Whoa, Sweden. Most people see Sweden as a Scandinavian paradise of beautiful people living pristine lives, and they are correct. Another draw of Sweden is the continue to exhibit and develop the most progressive politics in the world, which is why one might be surprised to learn it's actually one of the easiest places to immigrate to in Europe. In fact, if you are an EU citizen, you have something called right of residence, which means you can live there and even open a business without ever applying for a residence card. For those outside the EU, it isn't much more strenuous. As long as you can prove you are related to someone studying or working in the country, your application will be accepted without strict assessment. Just know once you are inside you will have to deal with the high cost of living and tax rate. Number 6. Japan. To be honest, Japan is not the easiest place to immigrate to, but if you are looking for a first world Asian location, it is probably your best bet. In fact, Japan used to be infamous to being closed off to foreigners. But the appeal has always been there for migrators. For one, it is one of the safest countries in the world. Culturally, harmony is of the utmost importance, and isn't that what we all want, to live in harmony? Finally, the technology and jobs available are on the cutting edge of civilization. Now, to the benefit of the rest of the world, Japan is aging. There now are more elderly people than children. Due to this development, Japan is opening its doors to skilled individuals who can reinvigorate the workforce. For the most part, they are looking for highly skilled workers, that is to say engineers, humanitarian specialists, international services, etc. Here is your in though, teaching a language. If you can speak your own language in a native tongue, especially English, Japan will fast-track your work visa. Once you are inside, you can work towards obtaining a more permanent job and residency. Number 5. New Zealand. After seeing the green sweeping mountain-esque cinematography of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so many people applied to live in New Zealand that the shy island notoriously closed itself off to expats. 90-mile beaches, the world's most incredible landscapes, and a delightful offbeat culture, it would be hard to blame them for trying to preserve it. A decade later, the climate has changed. The Auckland has started to accept many more expats due to a skills shortage. The country is now seeking skilled individuals to reinvigorate the workforce and keep the place afloat. The New Zealand government has published a list of both immediate and long-term skill needs. If you satisfy any of these shortages, they will fast-track your residency. If you are unskilled, you will have to go the standard and more exclusive route of a basic work visa. If you are an Australian or United Kingdom citizen, you can actually stay in New Zealand for 6 months without a visa. If your country has a waiver agreement, you can stay 3 months, which is just about enough time to get some networking done. Number 4, Panama. Relocation to Panama is skyrocketing through the 2000s. For the explorers out there, Panama offers some of the most diverse geological and biological landscapes in the world. Many see this tropical paradise as an ideal retirement destination. Simply put, it's beautiful, it's cheap, and people speak English. Fortunately, there are 8 different ways to obtain permanent visas. For most, Panama actually has a retiree visa for those that have a minimum pension of $1,000 a month. This visa also gives you discounts to movie theaters, restaurants, hotels, etc. Second easiest, if you are currently a resident of one of the 48 nations that Panama considers friendly, you are securing a job or opening a business away from permanent residency. One of the more interesting visas allows you to invest a minimum of $80,000 in a reforestation project to obtain your visa, a great way to charity your way into a new home. Number 3, Roatan. Roatan, one of the Caribbean islands above Honduras, is technically not a country, but don't let that stop you from taking permanent residence there. The laws for obtaining a visa are as lenient as the lifestyle here. If you can prove that you bring in at least $2,500 a month or $1,500 on a pension, you're in. In order to get a work residency, you will need to pass some assessment from the government and be sponsored by your current company, which can't be a hassle. However, the Roatan Marine Park has an amazing program wherein they will give you residency as long as you train to be a dive master. The 40-mile island is populated with 35 different dive shops that need experienced instructors. You could go from boring grey office job to deep-sea diving for money in the Caribbean in 3 months. It doesn't get much better immigration-wise. Number 2, Ecuador. From 2014 to 2015, Internations named Ecuador the top expat destination, citing quality of life, cost of living, and personal finances as features that distinguished it from the pack. Ecuadorian lifestyle is also considered to be as active and healthy as any country on earth. Finally, it is home to a surprising amount of microclimates, so there is something for everyone. The Republic of the Equator has a pretty standard immigration policy, except that it is significantly more affordable to buy your way in. You are only required a monthly income of $800. Something that almost all pensions and most freelance jobs will cover. Some countries will run you $250K $5 in investment for a residency visa, at $25,000. The Ecuador investment program is a steal. Rounding out the options are entry for people with technical experience, religious workers, journalists, or simply having a recognized college degree and a wish to practice your profession in the country. Number 1, Bahrain. This archipelago of 33 islands above Qatar is considered by some to be the original location for the Garden of Eden. It is no wonder Internations named the lush booming country the number 1 destination for expats in 2017. Bahrain began as a crucial high-traffic port city in the Middle Ages, and has quietly expanded ever since. Many consider Bahrain to be the friendliest, most welcoming, progressive and diverse of the Arab countries. To get there permanently, you're going to need a work visa. This is a situation where visiting the country on a standard passport and networking is necessary, but also worth it. At any time, It is Bahrain's directive to have at least half of the workforce comprised of Bahraini citizens. Considering its spike in popularity, this is one destination you might want to jump on now before the slots are gone.